Welcome back to another video of where I am walking you through TaxDome and its different features. And today I am going to talk to you about how to create a pipeline step by step. So in this video, I am literally going to create a new pipeline from scratch, and I am going to walk you through how to create a full pipeline. Okay. Now as an exercise before you create a pipeline in TaxDome, I do recommend that you, as a tax preparer, bookkeeper, accountant, that you think about the client journey. So in this example, I am going to create a 1040 tax return pipeline. And so if I'm doing this exercise, I want to think about the client journey of what I take the client on when I am doing a 1040 tax return. Okay, so think about the moment that a client contacts you and have said that, hey, I want you to do my 1040 tax return, and what that journey looks like. Okay, and so I do want to preface and say that as I go into creating a new pipeline, don't really look at the naming of the automations. I'm going to make another announcement on give you a specific on what that looks like, but don't pay attention of what the specific naming is for these automations, but pay attention to just how I'm creating an automation and the naming of like the stage and like the different automations that I am doing within the stage. Okay, so let's dive right into it. So in order to create a new pipeline, go to the left hand side, click pipelines, and then you will see a new pipeline button at the top right screen. And it will be like this. This is creating one from scratch. And so first I would like to name the pipeline, which is my 1040 tax return pipeline. Okay. And then now this is the very first stage. Okay. This is the very first step that a client will go through. Okay. So a client I've already identified that, hey, you are the tax preparer that I want to do my tax return. So you might, as a tax preparer, you might want to send them an engagement letter. If I can spell engagement correctly, that would be great. Engagement letter. Okay, that will be that stage. And this is where I am sending them a proposal or engagement letter. Okay, so when I have identified what type of automation that I want to do, it will pop up here on the right hand side, and then it will ask me what type of template that I want to use. Okay. And so actually I do want to pause here and say that these templates, what I'm choosing from, okay, I'm kind of going to flip through different screens here for just a second. I am picking between these firm templates. Okay. So here, as you can see, I've already clicked like this engagement letter. Okay. So there are tasks that I will be clicking, selecting emails, chats. Okay. So these are the selection that I am pulling from and adding into my pipeline. Okay. So let's go back to the pipeline that I created. I believe it's this first one here. Yeah. All right. Let's edit. Okay, so as you know, let me go back to edit automations. Okay, so going back to the automations, I have selected that I want an engagement letter to be sent out to my client. And then here is just some default numbers that were in my account. So yours might look a little bit different, but reminders is how many days until the next reminder. So if I send out the engagement letter today, then within the next 3 days, I will send a reminder to them on completing the engagement letter. And then it will do that every 3 days, 3 times. Okay. So, excuse me. So that will be done there. I might, once they complete an engagement letter, I might say, might want to send them an email. Okay, I might say, hey, you know what? I'm going to send you an email saying thank you. Thank you for your, signing the engagement letter. Okay, so I might send that email out. Again, this is the step where I said before, do not pay attention to the naming of this email, because I don't think I have an email created for this scenario, but this is what I would do. Okay. So this is what I would say personally. I just don't have that email created. So I will have an email to send out to them saying, hey, thank you for completing the engagement letter. Okay, and save it. And that's all that I would do in that stage. So once those two are done, I would then do another stage where now I am collecting the documentation. So I'll just name it documentation, collecting documentation. Okay. And so now this is where I would send them an organizer where I am getting their information, their spousal information, any documents or W-2s, W-2s, any information to help me file their 1040 tax return. Okay, so I would do that. That might be there. Again, don't pay attention to that, but I will send them an organizer. Once that organizer is complete, right now I might have like an in the queue type of stage. Okay, where that's basically saying, hopefully I might not have spelled that right. Oh, here it is. Okay. So in the queue, and this is just letting the client know, saying, okay, thank you. I might send them a message, right? And say, hey, thank you for completing the organizers. Now you are in the queue, which means, which I would say, you're in the queue. We're waiting. You will be next up for a tax preparer to do your tax return. Okay. So, not in review, but I don't look like I don't have a chat or like a message created for that. So I'll just select it there. One thing I did forget to mention is, within these stages, I would personally add a automation where you are updating your client facing status. And what that means is when a client is logged into their account, they see what stage, literally what status their return is in. Okay, so for the very first one, I would add an automation where it's called update client facing job status. Okay, and so you might have a status where it says waiting for more details, because at this stage you're waiting for them to complete their engagement letter. And I would add to the description and say just something like waiting for engagement letter to be signed. Something simple like that. Don't have to overthink the statuses there. And that would be the client facing status. I would actually do that for every single stage that you do. Okay. I'm not going to do that in this video because I do want to create another video to kind of talk to you more about that. But I would do that here for each stage. And that's good so that they know so they don't send you emails saying, wondering what status is my tax return in, or, where is it at? They can go right into the portal and they see exactly where their status is or where the return is at. Okay. All right. So going back, I kind of want to go back a little bit to the documentation stage because I saw something here. But when you do send the organizer out to your client, I would actually send a message to them, giving them example or instruction on how to do the organizer. Okay, so I would actually send that message first, and then comes the organizer. Okay. So going back to the in the queue stage. So you sent them a message saying, hey, your tax return is in a queue, and you might want to say something in regards to that. A tax preparer will get to your tax return here shortly. Next is the in preparation. So now a tax preparer has picked up the tax return and has started working on the return. And so at this stage, I might just create a task for myself, which I am the tax preparer in this scenario. And that would just be to do the tax return. Okay. So to file the tax return. So of course, not in this, don't look at the e-file summary here, but this is just me having a tax return task that I am doing. Okay. And that would mean all of the data entry that I'm adding within the tax software that I am working with. So all of that will be in that task. Save it. And then I'll move on to the next stage. And so now the next stage might be a manager review. Okay. So when you are at a firm, you might have someone that has the capability to like e-file, right? And that manager would look at all of the numbers that you put in the tax return. Excuse me, not the tax return, the tax software. Okay, so now I would have another task for the manager review. Alrighty, and then I actually will probably assign it to them. I don't have anyone additional person in my account, but you might want to assign it to a person. Okay. Excuse me. Once that manager review is done, now you might want to do a client approval. And that would be where now you are sending them an email or making a phone call, updating them on whether they got a return or if they owe the IRS any money. And I would not do an email or a message because that looks different for everyone. So every step you will notice that it might not be, and it's not an automation for that. And that's okay, because don't think that automation is, you can't automate everything. Okay. So in this step, I would just create another task, and that would be for either the manager or the tax preparer to send their client correspondence on what that return will look like. Okay. So, in this case, I would just create I would just select. Okay. Well, in this case, don't pay attention to that, but I would just create a task for basically the tax preparer or the manager to send out an email updating the client on the update on their return. So once that has been, like, the client says, oh, okay, cool, I got a return, or I owe the IRS X amount of dollars. Next is to get signatures and payment, right? So now you want to signature and payment. You might want to say, hey, I'm sending them a message now saying, like, hey, now we have talked about the terms on your return. Now I am going to send you the form to sign and send you an invoice. Okay. All right. So you want to make sure that gets sent out to the client. You might want to do another automation on this step where you are sending, you might have an invoice, right? Send an invoice. Okay. You might have I just realized I don't have a invoice created here. So in this situation, I'm not going to do that, but I would if I've already had an invoice already created, I would do that. I will send them an invoice at this step. And then I would create a task where you are actually sending them the signatures and, of course, the signatures and the invoice. Okay. So I'll stop there, save it, and then go into the next where now you have signatures. Now you have payments, and then now you can go in and e-file. you can complete that step. And here you can actually send an email here saying, hey, your tax return has been e-filed and everything is looking pretty good, right? Return has been e-filed. You might want to send them that email. And then now the last step is literally you're done. Okay. So now this last step, you might want to, actually, I do recommend, not might want to, but at this stage, you are going to now have a task for yourself, because now you are going to upload their final tax return for their reference, and of course your reference as well. Okay. So I would create another task for myself where, okay, you're now moving the copy of their 1040 tax return into their portal. And you might even want to just send them a message just letting them know that that it's in their portal. Okay. Alrighty, and then that's it. Then they're done. So that is what a full pipeline look like from beginning to end, taking a client from literally the moment that they want your service of like tax preparation service to the very end. Okay. So again, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. There are other videos that you would like me to do and walk you through. Put that in the comments down below, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Peace out.